Are you ever in the predicament where you just get a whole bunch of still photos to put into a video and you're like, huh, these look really cool. But it would have been a lot cooler if they were like this. It's Javier Mercedes, and I'm here to show you some tricks that you can do to spice up those still photos in your videos. Let's take it to the computadora. What I plan on doing is just, if I had to put together a whole bunch of still photos, how to make it look more interesting. All right, so what you could do is you could bring all these photos in, but what's gonna happen is your sequence is probably gonna be off. This isn't in 16:9, so if you're gonna be showing this on any kind of medium, whether it be a cell phone or something else, these aren't the right settings, don't do this. So what we want is 1920 by 1080. Hit OK. Oh, and hey, look, there's what we need. So when you bring in your photos to Premiere, they will automatically have a specific amount of time that they are brought in as, or frames, depending on how you set that up. So right now, this is, and I can tell how long this is by setting my in and out points. I'm doing that by hitting the key right here, the question mark. I can see how long that clip is right here, and it is 4:29. So that probably means my things are set up to be 5 seconds. So immediately when you bring photos into Premiere, here's a photo right here. Here's a photo of me right here. And right when you bring it into Premiere, it doesn't fit this 16:9. There is a shortcut to make your photos automatically fill the frame. You can go here, right click, and it's either scale to frame size. I look at my effects controls, I can see here that it's still scaled at 100%. So let me undo. Look, it still says scale 100%, and if I redo, scale 100%. It's just scaling it up and then taking that and saying, hey, we put it in the frame, whether it be length or vertical, and it says this right here is now 100%. Let me undo that. So if I come back to it and then if I hit set to frame size, now it scales it to, and it looks exactly the same on the screen, but if you look up here, your scale is actually representing what the physical scale is from the original photo. So it started at 100 and then it went to 168.8. What I like to do most of the time is just sit here and then I've changed my keyboard shortcut to automatically go Shift Option Command G, and then it scales my stuff to frame size. The reason why my hotkeys for scale to frame size is so many modifiers, it's Shift Command Option G, is because in After Effects, the default for scale to frame size is Shift Option Command G. This is completely tangential. I'm talking about keyboard shortcuts. You guys want to learn about doing photos, but scale to frame size. If you want to go into your keyboard shortcuts, type in scale to, oh, hey, look at that. Option, Shift, Command G, so many modifiers. But if you use After Effects a lot, then it just gets you used to doing it in Premiere and in After Effects at the same time, which is awesome. Let's move on. Let's do some things to these photos. So like I said, I'm gonna go through here and then I'm going to scale them to frame size and scale them to frame size. Now, I believe you can actually bulk scale to frame size. So some of these photos are bigger than the 16:9. I've highlighted all of these clips and scale to frame size. Boom. So now I've just done it for every single photo there. Think about how can I transition between all of these photos. So let's say I start with this photo, and when you're going and it's playing, it's cool. Yeah, neat photos, just going like normal. First of all, when I first brought these in, you can set your duration in your preferences. So if you go up here to Premiere Pro, I'm so used to hitting keyboard shortcuts go up here to preferences, and you can set how long still images are by dragging them in. So say instead of 5 seconds, I want each one of these to be 1 second. Boom. And I delete this. I go back over here, and if I'm correct, I should be able to drag these in, and they will not be 1 second. Oh, I know why. So I'm going to delete this photos folder, hit yes, bring the photos folder back in, and now if I were to bring all of these onto my timeline, they'll all be 1 second. Isn't that neat? So if you're in the middle of doing a huge montage of photos and you want all of them to be on the screen for a specific amount of time, that's a big helper. Now, let's say just as a simple thing to go in between photos, I know this is really simple, but the modifier is Command D will give you just your normal crossfade in between each photo. So you can be like, whoa, cool, everybody's so sweet. And do it again and again. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We want to get into some cooler things. You can also highlight every single one and hit Command D, and that gives you your default crossfade. Whoa, 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 whoa. So many hobbies everywhere. If you didn't want cross dissolve and say you wanted something like, let's go to video transitions. What's something that everybody's going to have? Barn doors. You can sit here and right click or control click, however you do that on Windows or Mac, and set selected as default transition. So it'll have this little blue square now. See, if I highlight anything else, it won't have that blue square. But say I wanted to apply barn door to all of these. Now I hit Command D. Oh, and you could barn door your life every single day. What? I don't think those, you can use those for your YouTube videos, or you can use them for those kind of things, but I'm going to go back to dissolve, cross dissolve being my default transition. Just know that you have the option there. Dip to white is a nice one to use sometimes if you just need to have a vroom, like that kind of flash thing going on. But let's get to some meat and potatoes here. So I'm actually gonna go in here, label this boring photos. I will duplicate this and call this cool Javier is awesome photos. So first things first, let's say I want to just do something to this photo. Let's bring up our scale, and I want to fill the frame with this photo, right? So you can do this, and the obvious thing to do in the beginning is the Ken Burns effect, where you just go here and you go either you push in or you go out in your scale. So here's 135 and just a slight push in as it goes. And you know what? Let's throw that cross dissolve on there. Oh, this one's just a stagnant photo. Another thing to help out with like a photo like this is your positioning. So what you want to do is you want to scale it in just a smidge, and let's go 110. And I'm going to find the ends of this photo here. So let's go to right there, position, and I'm going to take this keyframe, go all the way over here, and take this one and move it this way, and wham. So here we go. Boom. That was cool, I guess. Here's this. And here's cool, awesome Javier photos. Whoa, whoa. So these look nice. So these are nice, but you can take your photos to another level by adding overlays. And a good place to start is cute stock footage.com. Wham. Light leaks. Like this. Cool. It's a free HD transition. And download file. What's the most popular? Film burn number 4. I bet this is going to be so nice. You're going to see this on all the streets. All those YouTube streets got film burn number 4. It's free HD transition. Look at all this free stuff for you to use on the internets, on the interwebs. Royalties. One of my favorite things to do is something like this old-timey look. Putting something like that over the photos. So let's download file. And let's just try and find one more. All right, so this old film look. What I might do, and what I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here, is if I go here and I say go to its opacity, and I don't do opacity, maybe I do something like multiply, and bam. Now you get that old-timey look. But let's take the opacity down to maybe 75, and let's also take it so it scales up a little bit, because I don't like this stuff going on the sides. So scale that up just a smidge. And I'm gonna take this cross dissolve off. So it's just adding a little texture there to the material. So in between each one of these, we're going to use that same technique. So let's say instead of multiplying, now I'm going to take this and maybe I'll hit something like, let's try overlay and see what happens. It's like crazy. So one of the things I'm seeing here is that it's moving way too fast for the shot right now. Bring up speed, or you right click here, speed duration, but I make a hotkey for that because you do it all the time. And I'll go down to 50%. It's just so, oh, that looks really cool. So now let me take this old film look and I'm gonna go down to 50% just so it's not abstracting from the, isn't that so much better? That kind of still looks like not good, but that's because we got this on overlay. Let's do screen. That one looks cool. And I'm also going to do something like this. Looks nice. So during the cross dissolve, what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll start it, and I'll do a little light leak so it goes over the cross dissolve. So here we hit Command D, highlight here so your commands work. Command D, and make sure this is highlighted over your track's highlighted. Make sure your track is highlighted so your shortcut works. Command D, cross dissolve that on. Oh, and look at that. So remember when I showed you dip to white? So instead of using Premiere's dip to white, we got that now. Boom, bow, boom, bing. So they're basic movements, but it just looks good if you do a little overlay. So let's say this overlay isn't your thing and you want to just keep it kind of like this. Let's say you go on the internets. Let's go to the google.coms, and then let's type in something like concrete texture. Ooh, Pexels. Good website, Pexels. Always great royalty free. I mean, look at this website. It's freaking amazing. So another thing you can do is take something like this and go free download from the Pexels, yo. Save image as. Save that. And I'm going to pull that into my graphics. Have this here. So what I want to do is I'm going to scale it. And I don't really know how this will look, but might as well give it a try. So I'm going to scale this up just a little bit, and I'm going to maybe multiply. Just to show you what the effect is doing, I'm going to add maybe a position here and have it go over to the right. And what you do is you just give it just ever so slightly. So I went 15% on opacity there. Hit OK. Then it just gives a little bit, of texture on that photo. And we can still have the light leak happen. So instead of having this photo right here, let's say you did something like, this works well when you have multiple photos that are trying to fill frame. That just looks cool going like this. Doesn't that freaking look cool? Just like, oh, look. Just overlay the stuff. Oh, look. Look at these photos. They're so much cooler. And I didn't even add any cross dissolve, no movement, no anything. Let's hit up our Pexels graphics. I really like this one. I wonder if I mix that with this one, if that will do any kind of cool thing. It's on black, right? And then like just go to pexels.com and just put it on that. Like that already looks better. Next thing you could do is say, all right, so I have me just with my fro, right? Let's go to our effects panel and let's type in drop shadow. Boom. So now I want to go over here to my drop shadow, give it a little bit more distance, a little bit of softness, and now my photo is floating above that texture. Isn't that nice? Wait a minute, there's more. What if we went back and threw our old-timey thingy on it? Just real ever so slightly. So instead of 75, I'm gonna go with maybe 25. So boom. Would you rather have this or that? Huh? Come on. I mean, literally, you just had to do 2 seconds of work and wham, it's so much cooler. But let's take it even further. Whoa, that looks cool too. This is awesome. To animate it in from the side, what we can do is say, I want this photo to end up here. So go here, make your position, keyframe, go over here, and, or you could go over here to temporal interpolation, and let's ease out. Click this guy, and we want to ease into it, ease in, and then let's see how this looks. Whoa. But we could take this even further with this movement. Taking these handles and moving it over like this. So it's going to ease into it, as opposed to starting and go, easing into it. It's just going to go woo, woo, as you can see. This one off and woo. See how it just like, isn't that cool? Now, if you were to take this over to After Effects and add motion blur, that would look cool. But what if I told you you could add motion blur inside Premiere? That would be even cooler. Let's do that. So let's go to Transform. Chris Brown, he can transform you. Drop the transform on. Look at these tips and tricks for you, all right? So let's not use composition, shutter, whatever that is. I'm going to go to the shutter angle and hit 180. And this is just like the transform, but when I move things, it's going to give it motion blur, which is awesome. So let's take this position. This is where we want it to end up. So I'll take this node and move it over here. And we still want that same one from over there. Looks cool. But let's add our temporal interpolation, ease out, temporal interpolation, ease in. go down here, move it, move it, move this so it slides into spot. Boom. Do you see that motion blur that's going on? Now that we have that, I am going to move this over to the side, and let's say I want to move this in, and then I want to bring in my other photo of me with a fro. Now I can see that I have black on the sides of these, and I could go in Photoshop and Photoshop that out, but if we are lazy, we can just hit here, grab the crop tool, plop it on, go and just crop in. You know, just crop it. You know? So let's say I go whoop. All right, so let's say I add. Now we don't want to add more work for ourselves. Let's just take this, take our drop shadow. If you hold Command, take all of these things, our motion, our opacity, our drop shadow, our transform, you right click, you hit copy, then you go over here, you right click, and you hit Command V. Oh, and look, now we have the drop shadow, but not my transform. Copy. Oh yeah. Except, let's ease out. And ease in. It's not exactly the best, but it's kind of nice. Good enough. So let's add that film stuff back on. Look at that. Already looking cool, right? But we got one more Javio fro, yo. So let's bring that. That's kind of cool, just like that, right? That kind of looks like a rap album. Maybe I'm coming out with my rap album, and this is the cover, because that's really cool. If we wanted to stick with this whole theme where I hit, so I can go here, right click, copy, right click, paste attributes. So you could do motion, and look, all of these effects can now translate over, even the transform. So this is moving over. But the thing is, this picture had that crop. We don't need the crop. What might even be cooler is if I were to have flip me over. So let's go over here and have me facing the right way. So I'm gonna do horizontal flip, pop. And look, there, now I'm facing myself. Go back to this part, and we need to have me animate into the right spot. So to be right here, I have no idea why that node is there. So, whoa. That's cool. So now we got something like this. Now all we got to do is throw some more of those light leaks on there. So we'll start right like this. As that one pops on, we'll throw that light leak on there, cross dissolved. Maybe go down on this by 50. And there you go. To finish all this out, what you could do too is take this, nest it, take scale it in about 105, and take your position and just make slight camera jiggles, kind of like it's being handheld on a camera, just to give motion to the overall feel of the This would be so much faster in After Effects, but I'm trying to keep this all in Premiere just to see how we do. Yeah. So there you go. So there's that. Anyhow, I hope that shows you some things that you can do inside Premiere to make your photos better, besides just having them go straight on camera, because there's so much more you can do. All right, guys, I hope you really liked that, and it was extremely helpful tutorial for you. If next time you have to make a photo montage for, I don't know, like a wedding or something, maybe you can utilize some of these techniques and not just have straight photos pop up on the screen. And if you want to let me know down in the comments what other kind of Premiere type tutorials I could help with, that would help me come up with the ideas of what you guys need to know. And that's about it. So until tomorrow, see you guys tomorrow?